Good evening. My name is Helen Pearson, and once again, on behalf of Franklin Business and Professional Women, we welcome you to the second political forum as the November 6th general election is fast approaching upon all of us. BPW has conducted many forums throughout the years, and once again, Mr. Mark Dobbs has agreed to serve as our moderator. We appreciate his interest and support. Mark is the assistant principal at Franklin Simpson High School, and we are grateful for his participation in this forum. I will ask Mark to come at this time, and he will explain the format of tonight's forum. Mark?
Good evening, everybody. For those of you that have been here before, and many of the candidates that we'll be speaking to have been at these forums before, it's going to cover a lot of the same format. For those candidates being asked questions, they will be sequestered, and we will stop here in a minute and sequester everybody that needs to be sequestered. The number one thing I need to tell you is, first and foremost, please turn off your cell phones if you haven't already, so that it doesn't interrupt the candidates if they get up and speak. And candidates, there are a couple things I need to tell you. First of all, remember that I'm the disembodied voice off to the side that asks questions. When you answer the questions, look out toward the audience here, look at the camera, don't look at me, or all the people on TV are going to have a good picture of your ear when you answer the question. Secondly, Rachel is sitting here, and Rachel is my timer. When you have 30 seconds left, she's going to raise her hand up, and she's not asking a question or waving to you. That lets you know you have 30 seconds to go. And then when she puts her hand down, that means your time is up, and I'll let you finish your thought, but if you try to keep going, then it's my job to kind of cut you off and move on. We're going to hear from a number of candidates tonight, including the constable candidates, the magisterial candidates, PBA, county court clerk, county judge executive. There were some of the candidates that couldn't be here tonight. And so they have turned in a statement to the BPW Club, and I'm going to take this opportunity, just so I don't have to get up and get back in front of you, to read their statements tonight. The first candidate, or the first statement that I'd like to read is from Mr. Paul Walker, who is the Democratic candidate for the United States House of Representatives. And these are his words. I appreciate the invitation to speak in Simpson County, and I apologize that another forum was scheduled at the same time. I sincerely wish I could speak to you tonight in person. I'm Paul Walker, and I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives. I'm a professor at Murray State University and have 3 daughters. I support workers, I support teachers, and I support policies that help our communities thrive. Health care for all, debt-free education, and fair wages and good jobs. I support investing in people and building prosperity from the ground up, not the top down. And I will listen to you, fight for you, and ensure that your voice is heard in Washington. We need leadership in Washington that reflects the values of Simpson County: integrity, compassion, acceptance, determination, transparency, accessibility, and respect. I encourage you to vote for candidates who will stand up for your values and who share a concern for people, and who share the belief that we can make this country one that we want to live in, a country that respects diversity, accepts difference, and considers all equal no matter who they are. A country that will provide for the health, education, and quality of life of workers, of teachers, of people of all ages, no matter who they are. I'm Paul Walker, and I believe people over profits, people over politics, and ensuring that our communities are safe, stable, and thriving. This is who we are. This is where we want to live and raise our families. Your vote matters, and I promise you that your vote won't be wasted on me. And I ask for your vote on November the 6th. Thank you. The second statement is from Jeff Henderson, who is a candidate for constable from the East District, who couldn't be here tonight. And these are Jeff's words. Please accept my sincere apologies for not being able to attend this forum tonight. I would like to thank the Franklin BPW for inviting me. I'm currently the East District Constable and have been for 8 years. I'm a lifelong resident of the East District where I live with my wife and children. I would like to continue to help and reassure the East District community and be a watchful eye for them. I enjoy volunteering my time to serve the people of the East District and my community, and I would appreciate your vote on November the 6th. I have one more candidate I wish to speak for tonight, and that candidate is Tanner DeWeese, the write-in candidate for magistrate from the East District. Tanner wanted me to make sure that everybody understands the write-in process, that when you go to the ballot, you have to physically write his name in. He said he is for high-speed internet throughout the East District. He is in favor of improving the infrastructure. He wants to see growth in the community to a point where everyone can access a living wage. And he wants to look at the payroll tax and see about changing or eliminating the payroll tax. Originally, it was designed as a Band-Aid to fund the jail. And he also wanted me to let everyone know that he is opposed to any additional property taxes, especially those on farmers. With those statements being read, I'd like to welcome up to the stage now our first speaker tonight, Miss Beth Fiss, who's running for Circuit Court Clerk.
Hello, I'm Beth Fiss, and I'm running for the office of Circuit Court Clerk. I want to thank all the 1,396 people who voted for me in the primary in May, and thank you for entrusting me to serve as your new Circuit Clerk. I moved to this special town of Franklin with my family when I was 5 years old. My parents are Lola Johnson and Dwight Johnson. I have one brother, Brian Johnson. I graduated Franklin Simpson High School in 1989, then later graduated from Western Kentucky University with a Bachelor of Arts degree. I now attend an extended campus of Candler School of Theology through Emory University. Many of you know my husband, Richie. We've been married for 28 years and have raised our two beautiful daughters here in Franklin, Lauren Fiss and Caitlin Vaughn. We have one son-in-law, Brandon Vaughn, one granddaughter, Chloe, also known as campaign manager, and one grandson due to arrive in late November. I began working my career as a co-op student at Franklin Bank and Trust in high school. Later, I worked as a 911 dispatcher for the city of Franklin. For the last 23 years, I've worked as the District Court Judicial Secretary for Simpson and Allen counties, working with Judge Frank Wakefield and Judge Martha Blair Harrison. I'm a longtime member of Franklin First United Methodist Church and have served the past 13 years as a local pastor. I've served the last 3 years as an AmeriCorps volunteer as the Simpson County Room of the Inn coordinator. I'm also a longtime member of Business and Professional Women's Club, having served as an officer on the state level and serving as president and vice president on the local level. As you may know, circuit court clerks are responsible for managing the records of circuit and district courts. Circuit clerks receive lawsuits and court documents, record legal documents, provide legal documents, and are present during all court proceedings and trials. Circuit clerks also schedule juries, receive and disperse money, maintain the jury system, administer oaths, handle affidavits, and issue driver's license and identification cards. In 2017, the Simpson County Circuit Court Clerk's Office handled over 4,500 cases and over $1.1 million in cash receipts. During my time off this year, I have been volunteering in the Allen County Circuit Court Clerk's Office, taking note of all their best practices to ensure our office here will be the most accurate and efficient in the state. In January, it will be my pleasure to provide extended office hours to the public. I understand when you work out of town or work odd shifts that it can be difficult to do business in town. In January, it will be my pleasure to provide more clerks at the counter to reduce the wait time when customers come in the office to conduct business. Also in January, it will be my pleasure to help and educate the public on the changes being made to the driver's license. Thank you for your vote, support, and I look forward to serving this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bates. We will now have the opportunity to listen to our candidates for constable. The first of those to speak tonight is Mr. Ronald Black.
Good evening. My name is Ronald Black. I'm running for North District Constable. I've been constable for the last probably 14 months, I guess. And I am married to my longtime fourth grade sweetheart, Nancy Carol Rutherford. We have 2 girls. We have 6 grandboys. 3 great-grandchildren and a great-granddaughter. And I have lived here in Franklin practically all my life. I've been a self-employed probably for 50 years. And I've dealt with the public for many years, the whole time. I am now constable. A lot of people don't know what a constable does. Constable works through the sheriff's office. We help with them. I made a promise to Jim Henderson when he was judge here, county judge, and to the magistrates that I would do some things that hadn't been done with the constable in a long time. And that's patrol the roads in the county, plus in the city, that's all in the North District. And I've been doing that for quite a while now. And I've had a lot of people that have called me and told me they appreciated that hadn't been done in many years. You don't see many constables out too much. But I've been out in my little old car for the whole time. And you may see me out there in the morning, at night, or any other time. Franklin is it's our hometown. And it's a great little place. It's not little anymore. It's growing all the time. We have a lot of industry that's coming in. Another one of the things that I've been working with the factories here. And I've gone to 3 of them so far and asked if they would let me patrol around in their lots at night, in the daytime, or any other time. They have their own security there, but they all told me that they appreciated me doing that and wanted me to. And I've been doing that too. You know, there's Franklin is on the move. And we've all got to move with it. We've got good representation, and we're going to have good representation. And I want to be part of it. I want to finish out this next 4 years if you vote for me. And I have other things that I want to do. The Morgantown Road is really dangerous out through there. We've had a lot of wrecks even this year. And there's a lot of speed out through there.
Your time is up.
Okay, thank you. But I appreciate your vote, and thank you very much.
Our next candidate for constable that will speak is Mr. Monte Cherry, who's running for constable from the North District.
Hello, everybody. You know, my name is Monte Cherry. I'm seeking office of constable in the North District. I was constable in Warren County for, I think it was 8 years, I'm not sure, it's been a long time ago. But I moved from the constable position to Franklin Police Department where I retired from. And when I retired, I stayed retired for 6 months. Went to Woodford Police Department as a police chief. Jerry D called me, the sheriff here in Simpson County, and said he had a really good job opportunity for me. So I met with Jerry, and I did take that job to his Warren County, Simpson County Sheriff's Department, doing security at the high school and middle school. Constable, just like Ron said, you know, you need to get out and let people know you're out in the community because they elected you to the office, so you need to show that you're out there. People, they will be watching for you, I promise you. But it's our job to get out to see people, answer questions, any law questions they may have. Me personally, and I would assume Ron would too, is to have any spiritual questions or any other questions or problems that they may have is the constable's job or any law enforcement job to try and answer those questions and to be there for the people. And I'm sure Ron knows it too. We may get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning, but it's our job to get up and go do it. When I started working in Franklin, I fell in love with the city of Franklin. My wife and I, we built us a house in the North District. We've been living there for probably 10.5 years, maybe, close to that. That's how long we've been married. I'm a very lucky man to have her as my wife. We have a total of 4 children through 2 marriages, 5 grandbabies. The first thing I wanted to start this out with is I want to give God all the praise and glory, because without God I'm absolutely nothing. None of us in here yet. So if you live in Franklin, you know who I am. If I give you my word, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I don't think you can ask anybody else to do anything more than that. You can only do so much. But I will be here for the people of Franklin. You're elected to the North District, but if you get a question or the time comes up where you have to go to another district, I'll do that too. I'm sure my buddy Ron will do it too. Don't think he can go wrong, because I'm going to do the job to the best of my ability, and Ron will have to buy me dinner after this, but he will do the same thing. I believe Ron will be out and do the job to the best of his ability. Thank you, God, for the time allowing me to speak tonight. As you can tell, I'm not a speaker, but just the old city board. I just tell you what's on my mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next constable candidate to speak is from the East District, Mr. Billy Bishop.
My name is Billy Bishop. I'm running for constable in the East District of Simpson County. I wasn't born here, but I moved here because I thought it was the most beautiful and friendliest place in the country. After living here for a while, I decided I want to try to give back to my community, so I started volunteering. I've volunteered extensively with the Office of Emergency Management and several of the programs they put on, like the Community Emergency Response Team, Medical Reserve Corps, the Storm Spotters, and the Local Emergency Planning Committee. I started looking into other ways I could volunteer and give back more, and I found that the position of constable would fit in fairly well with what I'm doing already. Constable is a volunteer law enforcement officer, and since I've already been trained to deploy in times of emergency or times when our first responders already need help, having those extra credentials as a law enforcement officer would allow me to assist the community even better. I've already been trained in things like traffic management and crowd management, first aid certified, CPR certified. I'd definitely be the kind of guy who wouldn't mind getting out of bed in the middle of the night to help out our first responders when they need it. I know a problem they always have is manpower and overtime hours, and a constable could certainly relieve that. Constable doesn't really draw a salary from the county. He's not on county hours, so if there's an emergency, I'll be there saving money. I already know how to do things that can relieve our highly trained first responders so that they can do what they need to do, and they don't need to do things like direct traffic or control crowds. So that's really why I'm running, is I think I can help, I think I can give back. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. I would like to ask our remaining candidates to speak tonight to go back to the back end of the building where you'll be sequestered. Our first speaker will be Nancy Combo for County Clerk when we reconvene. Okay. We're going to get started now with our candidates for the county clerk. The first to speak tonight is Miss Nancy Combo.
Good evening, everyone. I am Nancy Combo, and I am so excited to stand in this room and see all of these people. As a candidate, there's no other better feeling than to see that people are interested and they're coming out to support the elections. Like he said, I'm Nancy Combo, and I'm a candidate for county clerk. I have been a resident of Simpson County for 28 years. 27 of those years, I owned and operated a family care home. And I took care of elderly people in my home 24/7. I was able to raise my children.
What qualifies you to meet the demands and responsibilities of county clerk?
As a business owner, I have demonstrated leadership skills. I know how to budget. I was responsible for lives, so I have a very seriousness about my personality. One of the things that I think qualifies me for the county clerk's office is that I am looking at it from an outside position. And one of the things that I've done is I've spoken with a lot of people here in Franklin, Simpson County. I have spoken with a lot of county clerk's offices around the state to find their best practices and to know what is possible. And I want to bring the best things available to the clerk's office for the people of Simpson County. The one thing that I have heard most often is extended hours. And I was really happy to see that Beth Fiss is also on board with that. Like she said, many people work 10 hours a day. Most people are on the point system. And you should not have to take points off because you have to go in and do required business.
If elected, do you anticipate recommending any changes to the office of county clerk?
The biggest change that I would like to make is to move the county clerk's office back to the historic courthouse. This is something that the county judge executive and the magistrates have been in favor of, and I too see that this is a fiscally responsible decision to be made for the county clerk's office. It would save taxpayers dollars. Another thing that I want to do is to bring the clerk's office up to speed as far as technology. A standalone website, I think, would be very beneficial. I actually have a website for my campaign, and it's been amazing the number of people who have gone to that, who have used it. I have a voter button that they have used to find out information, where they're registered to vote, how they're registered to vote. They can register to vote. So that tells me right there that people are interested in the technology that's available to us today.
Thank you for answering those two questions. You now have time for a closing.
Like I was saying earlier, I was a business owner for 27 years, and I worked out of my home, but by doing that, I was able to raise my 4 children. And I would like very much to have this position as county clerk. And when I was a business owner, I prepared for my retirement through a 401k. So right now, the pension system is sort of a hot topic for Kentuckians, and I want to let everybody know what my intentions are. I am running for clerk. I would like to go in, see the changes that I would like to see made. I would hope I could do that in 4 years. I may possibly run for a second term. 8 years would be the longest that I would want to run. So the people of Simpson County would never be responsible to pay me a pension.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Our next candidate for county clerk is Ms. Jolene Thurman.
Hello, I am Jolene Thurman, and I am your incumbent candidate for Simpson County Clerk. I was born and raised here in Simpson County by the late Paul and Elizabeth Summers in the Round Pond community. Graduated high school in 1976, married my high school sweetheart, the late Steve Thurman. In August of 2015, I married business owner Carrie Willington, and together we have 5 children and 12 grandchildren that pretty much keep us hopping. So our roots run deep. Out of those children, 4 are business owners here in Simpson County. That includes a son-in-law that owns a business, and I have a daughter who is a teacher in the local school system. So I have been your county clerk for the last 2 years and look forward to continue serving you as county clerk.
What qualifies you to meet the demands and responsibilities of county clerk?
Oh, wow. Like I just said, 29 years of experience, I think. I was started in 1990 under Chip Phillips, the former county clerk. Couldn't have asked for a better boss, could not have asked for a better mentor. Most of you all are familiar with seeing me on the front lines in the title and registrations, but it's not unusual for me to go into the deed room, mortgages and deeds, the election process. We've had the delinquent tax sale, and I have been a big part of that. So I've seen a lot of changes in the county clerk's office. Been proud to be a part of that change. So I think just the 29 years of experience.
If elected, do you anticipate recommending any changes to the office of county clerk?
Well, as far as changes, that's a tough one. As far as changes personally that I would do as a county clerk, no, I'm very proud of my staff. I'm proud of the efficient and speedy, courteous service that we give our public. Any changes that would be made would have to come from the state. We are KRS mandated. We are also under the fiscal court. So any changes would have to come through the fiscal court or through the state. I think I run an efficient office. I would put my girls up next to any state county clerk's office across the state as far as their service, efficiency, and accuracy. So any changes to be made would have to come from the state and the local fiscal court.
You now have time for a closing.
As I stated earlier, I started my career in the county clerk's office in 1990 in the original courthouse across the street from the facility in which we are now. We left the courthouse because we ran out of space. In that 29 years, our county has done nothing but grown. In the deed room alone, in 1990, it took us a year to fill up a deed book. Now it takes 3 to 4 months. Mortgages are about the same. Proud to say that before we would have to look up the deeds and mortgages alphabetically in a book. Now we've got it on the software. So just in the deed room alone, we have grown with Simpson County. Title and registrations, in 1990, we had 5 dealers. We now have 17 dealers. We had, in 1990, we had 35 to 50 plates that you could choose from. Now we have 150 plates that you can actually choose from for your vehicles. The election, that has grown from 8,000 in 1990 till today, right at 14,000. A lot of that is due to the motor voter. So I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of growth in Simpson County, and I have been proud to be a part of that growth. Some of the best days are in a week when the new residents, the new move-ins, we call them, 3 to 5 on a weekly basis, moving into Franklin. And undoubtedly, when you ask them, what brings you to Franklin? Besides family, besides the work, it's always the people of Franklin. And I am proud to be a Simpson County, and I'm proud to be a part of that growth, proud to be your county clerk, and look forward to continue to serve you in the future. Please vote for me November 6th, and thank you to the BPW for hosting this tonight, and thank you all for coming out. Thank you.
We will next hear from our candidates for Property Valuation Administrator. The first to speak is Mr. Robert Taylor.
Good evening. As Mark said, my name is Robert Taylor, and I am your candidate for Property Valuation Administrator. A little bit about my background. I am a graduate of Franklin Simpson High School and Western Kentucky University, where I earned bachelor's degrees in mathematics and in chemistry. I also earned a master's in business administration there. I'm also a graduate of the University of Kentucky, where I received a master's degree in accounting and taxation. I have owned and operated a business here on the square in Franklin for the last 30 years or so. And most recently, I have begun serving as your property valuation administrator. And I started that back in June. I'm an active member of the Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, and the Community Emergency Response Team. And I attend Hillview Heights Church. I hold active professional licenses as an insurance consultant, a real estate broker, and a certified public accountant. I am now ready for that first question.
What work experience do you have that qualifies you for the office of PVA?
Okay. Well, it's multifold. In the real estate realm, worked with my dad, who's an attorney, Bob Taylor, and we did real estate title work for many, many years, which got me used to working the deeds in the courthouse and looking at the things that affect titles and properties and property values, easements, and that sort of thing. I did a lot of work with that. I also have done a lot of tax work over the years. Certified public accountant, as I noted, but I started doing tax work in high school. Did my first tax return in 1977, and I still have it. It was the one I did for myself. I still have that tax return. And I guess I'm a tax nerd because I have all the tax returns I ever filed in my life. But that experience working with taxes and running a business gave me a really good understanding of how the taxes affect people's lives in a direct way. Not just the individuals, but the business people too. And I've worked with folks, I've helped people do even the tax returns that are filed into our office. For the business people that have to file personal property tax returns, and I've done those for people for many years. The real estate work I've done also includes working as a real estate agent, so I've had a direct reason to evaluate properties, and understand the transactions that are involved in real estate, and a real understanding of what happens and affects property values, such as having a rock quarry in your backyard, for example, that has an impact, or having a cell tower built next to your house, which some people out near Drake have had that happen. And you walk out the backyard, back door, which used to be a nice picturesque scenery, and now it's a cell tower. So those things in combination have made me very prepared to work in the PVA office. And of course, I do have 5 months of experience in the PVA office, and I've gotten every report out on time, and in fact early, and that is a very important aspect of our job, is to get what we do in the PVA office done in a timely and correct manner.
What do you offer that differs from your, let me start that again. What do you offer that differs from your opponent to meet the responsibilities of the office of PVA?
Well, my background is from the private sector. I came to this office from the private sector, and I view things from that mindset. I guess a good example is I always have work on my mind. When you run a small business, even when you're not at work, you're still sort of running in the back of your head, what can be done about this? This person needs help with that. The things always run in the back of my head. And another thing is, when you come from the private sector running your own business, if you have to take time off work for whatever reason, it means you're not making any money that day. And you also have to just keep a focus on your business when you're in the private sector. And I bring that to the PVA office. If I have a doctor's appointment I need to go to, I go. Then I come back. Or I schedule the appointment late in the day and spend my morning at work and then go to the doctor in the afternoon. I don't look for opportunities to make a 1 hour reason to be away from work turn into an all-day reason not to be there, because it's not an all-day reason. So, and I also make myself available on weekends and holidays. That doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily have the office open for hours on Saturday or open till 6 o'clock at night, but I do have keys to the door, and if someone needs to come in after hours, I can do that, and I will do that. So it's the private sector side of it is the big thing. The educational background that I have is significant. When I see things, I recognize what's going on. Sometimes I've had direct experience, other times it's just a matter of having courses and that sort of thing, such as governmental budgeting. Never had to do any governmental budgeting until I came into the office, but the day I got there, and I inherited an unbalanced budget. I don't know why it was unbalanced, why it hadn't been balanced by that point, but I inherited it, and I asked my opponent if she understood why it was out of balance, and she didn't know, so I went through it and found it. Had to go through detail by detail, but that accounting background helped. We got the budget balanced, and everything went forward just fine. So that's the answer to that question.
All right, thank you, sir. You now have time for a closing.
And my goals for the property valuation administrator are to make a better use of the readily available technology so that we can reduce our operating costs and enhance the accuracy of our records, and do all that while continuing to provide excellent customer service. We don't need to cut personnel. That's not the goal. But if we can free up our personnel from having to spend so much time doing tasks that are sort of tedious, they will be able to do other things which could be more beneficial in the way of services to our community. Now, some of the small things I did, because I understand I come from a small business perspective. We had a $100 a year Sam's Club membership. We rarely buy anything at Sam's Club, and the price differential for office supplies and that sort of thing at Sam's Club are minimal, so we just canceled it. On a larger note, and this is where our modern technology comes into play, we now have fiber optics available from the electric plant board. So I initiated the process, did ask some questions, and we were able to move our telephone service from AT&T at a cost of over $300 a month and utilize the electric plant board service. And now we're paying somewhere in the neighborhood of $130 a month will be our bill going forward. That frees up $2,000 to spend for something else that can benefit our office. So, and also that $130 a month stays in the community instead of going outside to AT&T in some tower in Atlanta or Nashville. So that's pretty much the thing. I'd also like to see us work better with other offices, especially on our mapping capabilities. We all have to have maps, and I would like them all to cooperate instead of each running their own mapping system. It costs money. We're not in competition with each other, but we can use those maps and all work together. I want to thank the BPW for this opportunity, and of course I want everybody to get out and exercise the right that so many before us have fought and died for. Please get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Our next candidate for Property Valuation Administrator is Ms. Allison Cummings.
Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Smith Cummings, and I'm a candidate for the Simpson County Property Valuation Administrator. Many thanks to the Franklin BPW Club for hosting this forum, and to Mark Dobbs for being our moderator. I appreciate your time. I am a lifelong resident of Franklin and Simpson County. I am a proud 1982 graduate of Franklin Simpson High School and a 1984 graduate of Western Kentucky University. My parents are Bill Smith and the late Melville Lynn Hall Smith. My daughter and son-in-law are Andrea Lowhorn and Daniel Lowhorn, and I have two granddaughters, River and Rain. I also have 23 years of experience actually working in the PVA office and statewide.
What work experience do you have that qualifies you for the office of PVA?
My work experience is 23 years in the PVA office. I have been 15 years here in Simpson County, and I had 8 years experience statewide, actually mainly the surrounding counties. I worked for the Department of Revenue. But I was in the PVA offices, I was in the sheriff's offices, and I was in the county clerk's offices. We all worked together. I learned how tax bills worked from beginning to end and backwards. Also, I have taken many classes from the Department of Revenue. I've had all the Kentucky courses, and I have had some classes with the International Association of Assessing Officers. And I have received my certified and senior Kentucky assessor designations.
What do you offer that differs from your opponent to meet the responsibilities of the office of PVA?
Well, different experience again. I know I have worked out and around, and I have measured homes. I don't know if Robert has done that or not, but been my opponent there, but I have gone out and actually physically measured houses, and I have assessed property. I have worked with the public for years and years, and I opened the office, well, when I came back to the PVA office in December of last year, I actually had people and went to measure and assessed all their properties and called them or sent them a letter and had them come by, and we talked about their properties. So I actually have a lot of experience with the public about assessments. And then any vehicles or anything like that, if people have high mileage on vehicles or something like that, they can come talk to us too. I've had that experience as well.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have for you. You have time for a closing now.
The PVA and staff have several important duties. Two of them are to identify and assess property. We do that by going out and measuring new residential and commercial properties, placing a value on those properties and improvements, and adding that value to the tax roll. This is how our tax base grows. Keeping up with new properties and reassessing the existing ones by using the sales in Simpson County generates more tax dollars for our taxing districts, such as state, county, school, library, ambulance, extension office, and the city. These districts, in turn, use the tax dollars to provide the needed services to our community. I know how to identify and assess new properties and improvements to existing properties. This is what I've done for 23 years. I would like the chance to continue this job as your PVA. It's a job I don't take lightly. I am very passionate about this PVA position. Experience is the key. Please vote for experience. Please vote for me, Allison Smith Cummings, on November the 6th, your working PVA. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Scott. We will next hear from our candidates for the school board, the 2nd Educational District. First to speak tonight is Ms. Nancy Yules.
Hello and good evening. My name is Nancy Elizabeth Yules, and I am the incumbent, and I am seeking re-election to the Simpson County Board of Education for the North District. I want to thank the BPW for the opportunity to speak this evening, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your attendance as well. I am married to Benny Yules, and together we have 4 daughters, Mary and Cynthia Bunton, Amy Yules and April Gregory, and we have 6 grandchildren. All 4 of our daughters are graduates from Franklin Simpson High School. As a member of the Simpson County Board of Education, it has indeed been an honor and a privilege to serve you in this capacity for the last 4 years. I am a graduate from Mid-Continent University with a bachelor's degree in business, a certification in organizational leadership. I have an associate's degree in nuclear medicine, receiving my training from Stony Brook University and Northport VA Medical Center in Long Island, New York. I have a license in massage therapy, and I'm currently pursuing my MBA.
Why do you want to serve on the school board?
I would like to serve on the school board to continue in the same vein that I have been in so far, to be an asset to the community, to serve the children of the community, and I feel that this position is the time for me to serve in this position. This is where I feel that I've been called to serve. I really enjoy working with children. I've worked with children ever since I came to Franklin in 1990, and I consider this my home. I am a military child. I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. I am not a brat. Notice I didn't say military brat. I am a military child. And I'm the 3rd of 7, so I'm used to being around others and having to give in different capacities.
What training or career experience qualifies you to serve as a school board member?
That's a good question. Since I've been on the Simpson County Board of Education, I think that education speaks volumes as to what we are to expect from the people that serve on the board. I have had experience in leadership through the Academy of Leadership through the Kentucky School Board Association, and I take the training very seriously. I would like to achieve a level 5 certification, and that is going to be my goal, to continue to educate myself on the terms that are prevalent to the Simpson County school system, as well as the State Board of Education. Once again, there was a vacant seat that was available in 2010, and the State Commissioner of Education appointed me to that position. So there was something about what I brought to the table that I would like to continue, because I feel like I am what Simpson County needs. This is the time for me, this is the time for you, and this is the time for the school system.
What is your current involvement in our school system?
Oh my goodness. My current involvement, I currently serve on the Safety Task Force is one of the things that I serve on. I know that safety is important, and I volunteer my time to serve on that task force, because when we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we cannot teach the children if they're scared. We cannot teach the children if they're hungry. We have to meet their needs so that they can have a comfortable atmosphere for learning. And I really feel that my involvement in the safety committee is one of the ways. Also, I have served as a site-based member at the middle school, the Lincoln Elementary, and the Simpson Elementary. So I have been very involved since the time I've gotten here, and I am just really believing that service to humanity is truly the best work of life. And I just want to continue to serve in that capacity.
That's all the questions I have for you. You have time for a closing.
Thank you. Once again, I want to thank everyone for coming. As I've said, I've served on the site-based decision-making member at Simpson and Lincoln Elementary Schools, as well as the middle school. While on the board, I achieved a Level 1 certification in basic studies, as well as advanced studies. This is with the Kentucky School Board Association Academy of Studies, which is a leadership commitment to continuous learning. The Simpson County schools have been gaining positive momentum, and the duties of the school board should not be taken very lightly. Keeping safety in the forefront and serving as a member of the task force has allowed me to continue as a collaborative effort in continued improvement for all of our students, all of our staff, in all of our schools. It took a couple of years for me to acclimate to the terminology and the process of learning Kentucky regulations, and serving as a seasoned board member will allow me to continue on advancing our schools to the next level. Now is not the time for us to lose momentum in the Franklin Simpson school system. If re-elected, I promise, as I have done continuously thus far, that I will make every decision based on what is best for our children. I will continue to hold the superintendent accountable and seek the very best for our children, and to be an advocate for all of the students of all economic levels, to continue to make informed decisions about district policies and goals, programming, and funding. The vision is to be a world-class educational system empowering students to graduate life-ready. We define it as academically and socially prepared for college careers. Our mission is simple: to develop all children to the fullest potential and to prepare them for the next level in life. I embrace this vision and I accept the mission, and I would appreciate your vote on November 6th. Nancy Elizabeth Ools, first on the ballot, first for the community. Go Cats!
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our next candidate for school board from the 2nd Educational District is Mr. Pax Burke.
Just in case y'all don't elect me, Nancy's got a lot of fervor, and I appreciate that. I'm not very good at saying go Cats. I'm Pax Burke, and I'm running for the North District School Board position. And I've lived here in Franklin for about 20 years in Simpson County. Been married to Cindy Ford Burke and have 2 daughters. And Morgan is with us tonight. She's is in the high school and is a sophomore. Meredith, my youngest one's not here tonight, but she's in middle school. I've had our family's ear to the ground, you might say, for the last several years as we've had our kids in school and have learned a whole lot about the school system. We have an impressive school system from top to bottom, and I appreciate the opportunities they provided for our family and for our kids, and I want to be able to serve the community in any capacity I can. I think there's a whole lot that we can accomplish moving forward. I believe there's a huge paradigm shift in the way the economy is going and in the needs and in the process as far as education goes, and I believe we need to get back to some of our old roots to help move ourselves forward as a community and to be able to establish our community in a better way.
Why do you want to serve on the school board?
Well, there's 2 or 3 reasons. One, I think there's an opportunity to bring back trades in a big way. As a contractor for the last 20 years and as a entrepreneur, I've owned a couple of 3 different businesses, and we've seen a huge deficit in skilled labor, people that are able to go and do trades, anything from carpentry to plumbing, electricity, HVAC work, concrete work, you name it, they're out there. Nobody has soft skills anymore among our youth, and you've all seen it when you go out into the community and you're at a checkout and people can't count their money back to you, and you see all these things that are just kind of missing in our society today. And I know the school board can't fix our society in any way, but I want to help to try and move forward and move ourselves back to some of our roots, the things that we all remember, the communication skills, being able for young people to be articulate with their elders, to be respectful, to bring some of that respect back. And I think it starts with a good education, a really well-rounded education. I think that education is not just about reading, not just about science, not just about math. It's about life skills, being life ready, not just career ready. We have to have morality. We need to reestablish our community and our conversation with young people, connect the young with the old. When I was a kid, you walked into a room, there was an elderly person there that didn't have a seat. You gave up your seat, you allowed them to sit. You don't see that in our community anymore.
What training or career experience qualifies you to serve as a school board member?
I started a construction company from scratch 20 years ago. I maintained that small company for continuously, but I also went to work as a superintendent for a construction company out of Nashville for about 6 or 7 years, and worked my way up to a project manager. I've traveled and worked in several states. I've built projects from Texas to New York to Florida. I've rebuilt prisons. I've built custom homes, multi-million-dollar homes. I've redone state projects of all sorts. I've had to manage through extremely large budgets working with contractors and with architects and engineers. I've had to deal with boards that owned companies and boards that have run companies and boards that ran, corrections facilities. All those things have given me the skills and the ability to manage tasks in a lot of different ways. As far as experience goes, there's a whole lot of things that come to mind. I started out at 11 years old as an apprentice in a boat shop in the Caribbean. We were from Texas originally, but we started out in a boat shop. My dad wanted to be a missionary, so we moved down to St. Croix. And down there I started as an apprentice in a boat shop for 5 years, and then went into masonry and concrete work and into timber framing and carpentry work. And through all those skills, I've dealt with so many different people and so many different businesses and suppliers and subcontractors. And all these things give me a great deal of experience and a broad base of experience to be able to bring a different perspective to the school board.
What is your current involvement in our school system?
Over the last few years, as my children have been in school, we've been involved, my wife and I both, as parents, in different projects. I've personally helped with the robotics projects in the high school and in middle school. I've opened up the doors to my own carpentry shop, cabinet shop, and allowed the kids and their team and their coaches to come and use our facility free of charge on a number of occasions to build different projects for the high school. I've donated money to keep these as a company, and my wife as individuals. We've donated money on several occasions to be able to fund projects that the kids were doing in the FBLA and in the robotics team. We've donated money to the quarterback club and have helped to spur growth in those things in areas that are a little different, maybe like the FBLA, the future business leaders of America. That when you talk about where our kids need to go and be successful and have a well-rounded education, while I believe there's many avenues for everybody to go, there are kids out there who are really striving to latch on to something permanent and long-term. My wife and I have tried to promote and to help kids that are specifically interested in business to help with that. And so we spent a lot of time coaching some kids doing that. We actually helped them do a project that they went to Owensboro and competed at a state level with a project, and they created their own business plan, a 40-page business plan, and we helped coach them through a 3 or 4 month process doing that.
That's all the questions I have for you. Now it's time for a closing.
I appreciate folks letting us come and speak to y'all tonight. There is so much that can be done still here. We do have a great school. I wouldn't take anything away from the direction the school's been going. But I would add that while we all understand that our children have to be able to read and write, they have to be able to do math, there's a tremendous amount of kids that have the opportunity and the know-how and the ability to be able to go to college. And there are so many careers today that require college that there's no way to go around that. And I wouldn't distract at all from saying that we need to prepare kids to be college and career ready. But for every kid that is college or career ready, we need to further define what that is. There's 200 kids in the 2019 class right now that 80% of them aspire to go to some sort of college, 2 to 4 year college. But as a national and a state statistic, 49% of those won't graduate from college. That means that 80 of our kids this year are going to go to college and complete it over a 4 to 6 year period. 80 of those kids are going to end up going to college and not completing it, racking up 2 to 3, 4 years worth of debt, and starting their career out with no skill, no college degree, nothing to get going. The only thing they'll have is a bunch of debt hanging over their head. And so that, I say, what we need to do is gear ourselves up for the major shift that is taking place in our community and in our world around us. Prepare these kids to have a trade. Have them something that they not only can just fall back on, but they can actually run towards. As a contractor and a company owner, a logistics company owner, I've had many guys working for it. I have 17 employees, and out of those 17 employees, most of my guys make over $20 an hour. Some of them have insurance benefits and other benefits that we provide as a company. Those aren't things to shy away from. There's a lot of kids that can benefit from a job like that straight out of high school. And I would encourage you to vote for me if that's the direction you want to take our schools in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. We'll next hear from our candidates for County Judge Executive. The first to speak tonight is Mr. Mason Barnes.
Change glasses so I could see some of the stuff I have written down here. I just want to thank the Franklin BPW for hosting this forum this evening, and I want to thank each one of you for taking the time to be here to hear these candidates this evening. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Mason Barnes. For the past 18 and a half years, I have operated and managed a successful self-named residential construction business, Mason Barnes Construction. I've been married for over 30 years to Jessica Barnes. She is a wonderful, caring person who has devoted her life to early childhood development and is currently the director of Kids First Daycare at Franklin Elementary. We attend Calvary Baptist Church. I'm currently serving my 4th term as a city commissioner. I have served on the board of directors of the Franklin Simpson Boys and Girls Club, 8 years on the board of directors of the Franklin EPB, and am currently the chairman of that board. I have true passion for our community, and I want to work hard to ensure the future of Franklin and Simpson County is bright for the future generations.
Explain any training or career experiences that qualifies you for the job of county judge.
Well, I touched on a little bit of that as I made my opening comments. For the last 18 and a half years, I have owned and operated a very successful residential construction business. I have real-world business management experience. Also, for the past 8 years, I have served on the Franklin City Commission. In that capacity on the Franklin City Commission, we have kept property taxes at a very low rate. I have helped the city of Franklin achieve the best bond rating in the history of Franklin. We've prepared a balanced budget every year. I've helped bolster the city's cash reserve from a 2-month reserve up to a 6-month reserve. We've made a number of improvements in infrastructure, and we've helped bring 21 new industries and 2,100 new jobs. I've championed bringing curbside single-stream recycling to Franklin. I have had, through the National Association of Home Builders, I've had community development and planning classes and is certified in that. one of the things that I've done with the city and through the electric plant board is worked on getting the fiber service up and running and going, and it's now doing very well in the city of Franklin, and I have put some plans together to help get that moving out toward the rural areas of Simpson County. So I just think that my commitment to the community, my life involvement in the community is, did she hold her hand up already? I'm just expecting that because I talk quite a bit. But I think that all of those things combined speak to the experience that I have serving the community.
As Simpson County continues to grow and expand, what do you think needs to be done to anticipate and facilitate growth as smoothly as possible?
I'm going to get the 2-minute hand on this one. I have talked a lot all year long about the need to implement and put together a true, comprehensive community master plan. We have to look at where we're at right now and think about where we were at 20 years ago and think about where we want Franklin and Simpson County to be 20 years from now. We have to lay out the most important aspects, and we need to put those in 5-year increments. We need to have plans that in the first 5 years, here are some things that we want to see happen in the next 5 and the next 5 and so on, so that we're prepared for the future. So I think to handle the expansion and growth, we desperately need this master plan. We need to understand where are the areas that we want to see residential growth and what type of residential growth do we want to see. We need to understand what agriculture areas would absolutely be off limits and understand that Franklin and Simpson County is a rural agriculture community and some of that land desperately needs to be protected. So to handle the expansion and growth, I think the number one thing we need is a true plan of where we're going. We have a great industrial recruiter in Franklin and Simpson County. Denny does a great job, and we have to continue working very closely with them to bring in the industry and the business that we need to sustain families, that we make a real wage, get in good jobs, not just low-paying jobs, but good jobs that folks can actually raise a family on.
Due to the statewide pension issue, tough choices will need to be made regarding finances. How will you address these tough choices and be fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars?
Well, obviously right now the pension bill is sitting at the Kentucky Supreme Court and they're waiting to rule whether or not it was passed unconstitutionally. I have no idea how that will go. They will either determine that it was not and it will be implemented, or they will toss it back to this next session of the legislature, and I think we'll get something in that same manner passed again. Now what that means to Simpson County is about a $500,000 liability. And at the current moment, the county only has about 2 months of cash reserve. So you would eat up the cash reserve in about 4 years at $500,000 a year. So one of the things that I would do immediately, and we've had an opportunity to do this, I would immediately change the funding mechanism for the 911 emergency fund. Now, that's not a great amount of money in the scope of a $13 million budget, but it would relieve about 1/5 of the money that's going to be required for the pension reform. The other thing is, as I understand it, in about 3 years, we're going to have the bond payment on the jail made. So that bond payment along with the 911 fee would cover that cost, but then you have the situation of what do we do to a 30-year-old jail that's going to need repairs and changes. So I think we're going to have to look at maybe some different alternative funding sources other than just simply raising taxes. Raising taxes is not the answer to every question. But the problem we're going to face, and I think the community needs to know this, the county, like I said, we're at 2 months cash reserve, which is not healthy. We have got to do some work. We're going to have to do some real strategic planning, much like we've done during the city. When we lose employees, we try to group job duties onto other employees and just try to make the best of what we're doing. But the reality is we need to bolster the cash reserve. We're going to have this pension liability, and there's got to be a way to pay for it. You're going to be tough. You're going to be hard pressed to cut $500,000 from the budget and still provide the necessary services that the county needs and expects. We have an obligation to the community, and the first obligation, the number one obligation that we have, is public safety. So I'm committed to doing what we have to do, and those folks in that field having the tools necessary to accomplish the things they need to accomplish.
What is your plan to improve the relationship between the city and county governments?
That's another great question. The first thing I'm going to do is toss out the score sheet. When I say that, we've got to quit keeping score as to who's paying what and who's doing what. We have to realize that just like our school system and many other entities, we are Franklin Simpson. We may have a local city government, we may have a local county government, but we have to understand that we all have to work together, and it doesn't really matter who's footing a particular bill at a particular time. We're just doing the things that we need to do. Now, so one of the things that I truly believe is that people can actually, believe this or not, we can actually have a disagreement and still get along and still work together for the common good of the community. So it doesn't mean, to restore unity, doesn't mean that we're never going to have a disagreement. It just means that we're going to have to be adult enough to work past that disagreement and do what's right and best for this community. Now, I have obviously serving 8 years on the city commission. I have a close relationship with the city manager, and I know, I know that the people that are in position in the county government. I just have an ability to work together and get along. I would say that some of the folks that are employees of the city, you may be able to ask them tonight when they leave, they would tell you probably 8 years ago they were scared to death when I got elected on the city commission because they thought I asked a bunch of questions and they were afraid about what I'm going to do. And now, at least in my face anyway, they say that they hate to see me leaving from there because regardless of how this election turns out, I will not be a city commissioner after November 6th or after December 31st. So we just have to learn to work together and get along, and I have that ability to do that. I think one of the things is really the folks that are in the leadership positions really need to keep derogatory comments off of social media. Would help a whole lot. If we just post positive things about the community rather than negative things, that would help a whole lot.
That's all the questions we have for you. We now have time for a closing.
All right, I've got 2 minutes, so I've got this written down, so I'm just going to read it here. Again, I want to thank the Franklin BPW for having this forum tonight. I want to thank each one of you for being here tonight. I think there will be a lot of work and a lot of challenges ahead of the next judge executive. With only 2 months of cash reserve in the county coffers, the escalating cost of goods, materials, equipment, and insurance, and the looming pension reform in the question tonight, fiscal responsibility will be paramount, and we definitely need some solid plans. A week ago, the candidates for city offices were asked what they thought Franklin would look like 25 years from now. I have talked about a true comprehensive community master plan all year long. I have talked about the need to implement that and put that together, a plan to map out not only what we want Franklin and Simpson County to look like in the future, but also a plan that sets goals and targets for meeting our future needs. We need a true visionary leader that can not only help get that plan together, but help carry it out. I believe there will be more changes over the next 20 years than we have seen in the last 20 years, and the way we handle those changes will determine whether we flourish and move forward or simply survive. If we just simply survive, it would, in all honesty, be a setback. And I, for one, cannot accept the status quo, nor the proverbial kicking of the can down the road. I want to see us actually plan for the future, then work hard to get there successfully. I have real-world business experience, management experience, 8 years of local government experience, and at 52 years of age, I believe I'm in my prime. I feel as I've had enough life experiences to help me make sound and solid decisions, yet I still have the energy and exuberance to take on a challenge and conquer it. I am ready, willing, and able to give the people of Franklin and Simpson County the best part of my life to ensure that we have a successful future for the generations behind us. I want to encourage all of you to get out to the polls on November 6th. I encourage you to vote. I would greatly appreciate your vote on November 6th, and I would look forward to serving you as your next county judge executive. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Our next candidate for county judge executive, Mr. Blake Tarpley.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Blake Tarpley, County Judge Executive. I'm a 1964 graduate of Franklin Simpson High School. I'm a 1969 graduate of WKU with a degree in business management. I have with me tonight my wife Jerry, my daughter Abby, my grandson Chase, and I'm looking forward to continuing this tonight and answering any questions that I have.
Explain any training or career experience that qualifies you for the job of county judge.
Well, I've had quite a bit of business experience. I've been with Through the Loom for 21 years. I rose to the title of Vice President of Manufacturing Services. I was with the National Oil Company when I first graduated from college. I've had attended 76 conferences and training classes for magistrates training, which took a total of about 568 hours. And I've been a magistrate for 8 years now, and I've learned a lot about the running of the city, the county government, and I hope to be able to continue that.
As Simpson County continues to grow and expand, what do you think needs to be done to anticipate and facilitate growth as smoothly as possible?
Well, you have to have a plan, for one thing, and I think you have to have a comprehensive plan. And as far as the county and the city go, you have to start with an agreement with the city that we all get along, that we can work together, that we can come together and form a steering committee and try to pick the best people in the community with the expertise that so we can cover all areas of the community. The fiscal court and the city, they need to have representation on this steering committee, but they don't need to have any more authority than any one member of the committee. It needs to be like I said, joint effort. We need to get the city, the county, the Chamber of Commerce, the school system, and others together to form this committee and let somebody take reins of it, but not the city and the county. It should be a community effort, and I think that's what we should do.
Due to the statewide pension issue, tough choices will need to be made regarding finances. How will you address those tough choices and be fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars?
Well, we are, the pension problem was not caused by Franklin and Simpson County. The pension problem grew out of Frankfurt. And what we need to do, we can't do anything to really help it ourselves. We can react to it by trying to find ways to create other forms of income, revenue to cover the expenses. But we need to encourage our legislators to go back to the drawing board and come up with something that doesn't put the burden on the backs of the teachers who've been promised all these years that they're going to receive a pension and that they've relied on. You can start over, you can revamp the figures, you can look at a lot of different things, but it needs to be done in a way that the current teachers and the ones that, like I say, have been promised don't get sacrificed.
What is your plan to improve the relationship between the city and county governments?
Just have to get together and talk. I've already taken steps in that direction. And I think with my relationship with the people that are on the fiscal court right now in the city, I think it'll be an easy thing to do. I don't see any problem getting cooperation with the city. I don't see any problem with getting together and moving together and coming to agreements on things that the community needs. We need the agreement between the city and the county on very many things. There are some things that the county can do on its own. There are some things that the city can do on its own. But we have to get together to go forward with any long-term plan.
That's all the questions I have for you. Now I have time for a closing.
Once again, I want to thank everyone for being here. I am honored to be a candidate for this position. I didn't get to do a real long introduction, for it only takes a minute, and I can hardly say my name in a minute. But I have a business background. I graduated from Western again with a degree in business management. Went to work for National Oil Company. They wanted to move us to Pittsburgh, and a few years ago we decided that wasn't best for us. So we came back to Simpson County to try to find out what was available here. And as luck would have it, Through the Loom, which at that time was Union Underwear Company, was moving their headquarters to Bowling Green. in 1974. In 1983, I was promoted to the position of Vice President of Manufacturing Services. Got a lot of experience traveling around the United States and over in Europe, and went to Central and South America. And I've spent a lot of time talking to people on all levels. I've talked to people from people on the sewing room floor through the loom to presidents and vice presidents of their own company. I know how to deal with people. I know how to read people, and I think that I'm the right man for the job because of my experience, not only in the business background, but also the 8 years that I've had on fiscal court.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. We will now move to our magisterial candidates. The first to speak tonight is Myron Thurman from the South Magisterial District.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the BPW for having us up tonight, and for the people who don't know, my name's Myron Thurman. My wife Jeannie is here tonight. I have 2 children, Adam, Herbie Thomas, and 1 grandchild. So,
What are your qualifications to serve as magistrate?
37 years being in business in Franklin, it helps considerably. I've worked with the city and the county government through some of their budgetary, when we were asked to do projects for them, we worked with their budgets. Also, served 5 years on the Simpson County Board of Education. That was really a learning experience. As far as the management of that part, I think I'm very qualified for this position.
Do you think the county has a firm financial footing? If not, what would you do to change that?
Good question. As far as I know, the county is in good financial shape, as far as I know. There always can be situations that can crop up that could deplete cash reserves. Throughout the physical court meetings that I have attended from first of the year, since I announced my candidacy, I have no reason to think that Simpson County is in bad financial situation. It just,
How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our community?
Well, one thing is that out on the campaign trail, with the cards and information I left, I had my cell phone number and my email address. Now, there's one thing that I will do if I am elected, is that I want people to call, I want people to be informed, I want people to know what's going to go on, I want them to know what's going to go on, rather than them read it in the paper after it's already happened. And also working close with the other county offices and also the city of Franklin. We all need to work close together and be as informative as we can.
A magistrate must work closely with the county judge executive. How important is this relationship, and how would you propose developing a good working relationship with the judge executive?
Well, of course, the county judge executive obviously will be tuned in on more everyday events than maybe a magistrate would be, but prior experience on the Board of Education, I communicated on a not daily basis, but at least a weekly basis with the superintendent of school districts, and I intend to do the very same thing as with the county judge executive.
That's all the questions I have for you. You now have time for a closing.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and hearing what each candidate has to say. I would appreciate your vote for South District Magistrate. And please, everybody get out and vote. That's the main thing. Everybody needs to get out and vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thurman. Our next candidate to speak is Mark Thurman, for Magistrate from the South District. Sorry, Mark Andrews. Mr. Andrews, I apologize for the name slip.
I didn't know his brother was time to find out. I'm Mark Andrews, running for the South District Magistrate. My wife, she's here, Cindy Andrews. We've been married, I guess, for a long time, 40 years. And so I'm kind of proud of that. You don't hear many people being married that long anymore, but to the same person anyway. But we have 2 children, 4 grandchildren. Kind of proud of all of them, but that was fast. You sure you got that right? But I just appreciate you both for giving time.
What are your qualifications to serve as magistrate?
My qualifications. Well, I run a farming operation for several years with my dad. When he finally did turn it over to me, I guess you'd say, he had enough trust in me to be able to figure out the budget, to help balance the budgets, and to try to decide the right directions and ways to go with farming operations. So I feel like that'd be one key advantage to my assets, I guess. As far as any other things, I mean, I've lived here all my life. I know the county well. I know a lot of people in the county. I feel like everything is said.
Do you think the county has a firm financial footing? If not, what would you do to change that?
A firm, what'd you say?
Financial footing?
Yeah, I feel like the county as a whole is in good shape. From what I know about the budgets, what I've heard, I feel like Simpson County and Franklin are going in the right directions. I feel like the people that we've had in the past have done a good job, and we're financially sound. I feel like.
How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our community?
Well, the first thing I can say, I'd always be available to hear what their complaints or what their ideas or what their suggestions might be. I'm always available pretty much with a phone call. And most of the time, if people can't find me, they know how to get a hold of my wife, so she knows how to get a hold of me, or my parents. Pretty well, I would say that I'm pretty well available because I'm usually always around somewhere in the county. We farm several acres around in different areas of the county. So I'm pretty well out in the area, I guess, where people would be able to see me to come, knock on the door or stop me on a tractor or something and tell me what they're thinking.
A magistrate must work closely with the county judge executive. How important is this relationship, and how would you propose developing a good working relationship with the judge executive?
I think working with the county judge is highly been able to work well, and even if you didn't have the same opinions, being able to work through those disagreements, being able to act as adults, I guess, and not be
That's all the questions I have for you now. You have time for a closing.
Thank goodness. Closing, I don't really know what to say as far as a closing. I would appreciate anybody's vote that possibly get in the South District. I realize there's someone here that's not in my district, so I guess I'm appealing to those that are in the South District that could vote for me. I would ask for your vote, and I would appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews.
Thank you.
We will next hear from Jeffrey Byrd, magisterial candidate from the West District.
Good evening. I'm Jeffrey Byrd, and I'm running for West District Magistrate. First, I would like to thank the BPW for hosting this forum. I'm a lifelong resident of Simpson County. My parents are Kathy Byrd and the late Wayne Byrd. My wife is Leslie Byrd, and we're having a son due in March. I have lived in Prices Mill community all my life. My occupation is a farmer. I've been farming on my own since 2001, and I'm ready to serve Simpson County and the West District as magistrate.
What are your qualifications to serve as magistrate?
As a magistrate, I have worked in the community and on different boards. I've been on the Ag Development Board, I've been in the FFA, Alumni Board, I've been on different boards, and I've lived in the community. I have a passion for what Simpson County is, and as a farmer, my accounting skills, everybody knows how farming is. You don't ever know, you do your best on budgets, and I think I do pretty good as a magistrate compared to what's going on in the community nowadays.
Do you think the county has a firm financial footing? If not, what would you do to change that?
I think it's got a solid hold on the financial. I think there's not much I would change. I think that some of the other departments probably could spend their money a little bit more wisely, but I'm gonna try and hold the other departments to their budgets a little bit better than what they've been doing. But otherwise, as a Simpson County as a whole, my feeling is we're in good shape money-wise right now.
How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our community?
During this campaign, I've been and knocked on pretty much every door that's in my district. There's a few I still like, and I plan on going back and revisiting the ones I've missed. But as a magistrate, I think it's my duty to be out in the community and to be in the district and be out talking to my constituents about their concerns, what needs to be changed, what needs to be done, what needs to be done overall in the county, and are we going in the right direction? Are we not going in the right direction? But it's gonna have to be to me, I'm more of a one-on-one type of person. So I want to see face to face. If somebody in my district's got a concern, call me. I'll come meet you. I'll meet you somewhere at your house, or I'll meet you somewhere, and we can talk one-on-one on whatever concern you want, and I don't mind doing it at any time.
A magistrate must work closely with the county judge executive. How important is this relationship, and how would you propose developing a good working relationship with the judge executive?
Working with the judge executive is really important, and it doesn't matter to me. I think that Blake or Mason, either one, is going to be an excellent judge executive. And I've known both of them for a while, and I've got to know them a little bit better this year as I've been going to the fiscal court meetings and learning more at the fiscal court meetings about budgets and stuff, and seeing how Blake is the West District Magistrate now. And I think that working with them will be an honor for me to work with either one of them.
That's all the questions we have for you tonight. You have time for a closing.
Again, I'd like to thank the BPW for hosting this forum. I've been active in the community all my life and will continue to do so. I would like to thank my family and the community for their support. Remember to vote Jeffrey Burr November 6th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burr. We'll next hear from Nathaniel Downey, candidate for West District Magistrate.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'd like to give honor to God, who's the head of my life. Next, I'd like to thank the women of PBW for organizing this event and then put it on for all of us, the candidates to come out and speak to all you all. I am Nathaniel Downey, seeking the office of West Magistrate in the West District.
What are your qualifications to serve as magistrate?
Some of my book qualification is being able to work with people. Because for 20 years being in the military, I was in book customer service, and having to deal with people, listen to their issues, to their complaints, and then being able to deal with them and solve them, in a timely manner.
Do you think the county has a firm financial footing? If not, what would you do to change that?
I think they pretty well got a sound footing, as of right now, which can always be improved in anything, that you tackle.
How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our community?
Being able to just communicate with them, because that's one of the biggest things. As I go around and with campaign, a lot of them is already hitting me with different things, different issues. So you just have to be able to listen to them, and if you don't know the answer right then, be able to take the name and number, and then do research on it, or find find the answer out for them, and then get back with them as soon as possible. That's the way that you're going to be able to handle people in your community.
A magistrate must work closely with the county judge executive. How important is this relationship, and how would you propose developing a good working relationship with the judge executive?
Well, the four magistrates and the county judge executive, they all go hand in hand. You can't do anything without the county judge executive, because they preside over the meetings and over everything. That's just like a coach on a football team. The player need a coach, and that's how the executive guy, he is the coach of the magistrate. So without him, you can't be able to do anything. So that's really important, to be able to have a good communication, between all of you, to be able to get things done.
That's all the questions we have for you. You now have time for a closing.
Okay, and we're closing. Let me leave you with 3 words that have been instilled in me, that I live by each and every day. Honor. I am accountable for my professionalism and personal behavior. I will be mindful of the privilege I have to serve my fellow community. is courage. Courage is a word that gives me the morale and mental strength to do what is right with confidence and resolution, even in the face of temptation or adversity. Last but not least is commitment. The day-to-day job of every man and woman in public office join together as a team to improve the quality of our work, our people, and ourselves. And I'd like to thank my wife for being out there, Stephanie, and my kids, because they are a big supporter of me. And I'm asking everyone to come out on November 6th, you know, to vote. You know, encourage others to come out and vote. You know, man, woman, boy, girl, because if you don't vote, there's no voice. You know, so please on November 6th, all the ones, your neighbors, your co-workers, everyone that you come in contact in Simpson County, in Franklin, Simpson County, please come out and vote. Vote for someone, you know, on the ballot.
Thank you, Mr. Downey. Our next speaker would be Marty Chandler, candidate for magistrate from the East District.
Hello, if any of you that don't know me, I'm Marty Chandler. I'm currently finishing up my third term as East District Magistrate and seeking my fourth term. I'm the son of Lloyd and Paulette Chandler with it at Gold City. I told them in the back, I've traveled a lot in my life. I was born in Blackjack and live almost to Gold City now. So we've really done a lot, but we farm along with my son, my nephew, my younger brother. We farm in that community, sell a little farm equipment, and I guess that's about it. Oh, and I'm engaged to Michelle Cook.
What are your qualifications to serve as magistrate?
Well, I've got about 12 years in right now. I feel like I fairly represented everyone in my district. I've had several calls and concerns over the last 12 years. I always try to address those problems. I see Sue Forsey sat back there in the back. She called me with an issue on the road, and it took her about 4 phone calls because we had a miscommunication on where that was at, but we got that taken care of. I've watched the finances of the county. I work well with the other magistrates. I have no problem working with the city commissioners. I try to work well with all the other elected officials, and I think that would help me qualify. And I'm the only one in this race that put forth the effort to put their name on the ballot and show up here tonight.
Do you think the county has a firm financial footing? If not, what would you do to change that?
I think we have a very firm financial footing. We've got $1.5 million, $2 million in reserve right now. Some say that may not be enough, but I don't think government is in the business, is a for-profit business. We should operate at a level where we don't have to raise taxes a lot. We should provide the services that are needed, but we shouldn't have a tremendous amount of money laid back. You need to have enough laid back for emergency funding. I know in this year, this is election year, we have to have 35% of our budget so that for the new fiscal court coming on, they will be able to have money, and they will be able to, in the past in other counties, they've spent every bit of the money in the new court coming on. They don't have anything to pay their bills at all. But I feel like we have a fine, but we're okay on our financial. I mean, I guess we could be better, but the only way to get more finances or more money is to raise taxes, and I'm most certainly not in favor of that.
How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process in our community?
Well, first and foremost, I ask for all of them to vote for me next Tuesday, or in 2 weeks. I think the people that you elect, that is your number one way of having a say in this community. And another thing to keep in mind, not only as an elected official, the court also appoints a lot of your board members, Parks Board and Renaissance Board and serve this community. So those people that you elect, not only are representing you on fiscal court, they're also representing you by appointing those board members. But I've never hidden my phone number. My cell phone is very wide open. I keep it with me all the time. I have no problem with asking questions or answering the phone and trying to address any concerns that people have at any time.
A magistrate must work closely with the county judge executive. How important is this relationship? And how would you propose developing a good working relationship with the judge executive?
As far as I know, I've had a good working relationship with this judge executive and the last one too. The problem when you have, or a problem will evolve is when there's two people that are having different sides of an issue and neither one are open-minded enough to listen. I've been on, I've had disagreements with Judge Spears. I had disagreements with Judge Henderson. But you don't take that personally. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I don't like you. And, so I would hope that I would have a disagreement every now and then with whoever's good. Because you don't want somebody who sits there, I don't want to be a yes man, and I'm not going to be a yes man. And I want, I hope each magistrate, each city commission is, they about themselves enough to have their own opinion, and a lot of things do go along with it. But when there's issues that come up, I hope that I will always speak my mind, and I hope that everyone else would too.
That's all the questions we have for you. You have time for a closing.
I was hoping that a question would come up where I could lead into this, but one of the things I think I think we may in the future, we could look at how our whole city and county government is structured. And maybe it's time we look at one form of government and one form of county government. I don't know if that's the right answer or the wrong answer, but I do think that deserves to be studied. I think there could be a lot of savings. Excuse me. I think there could be a lot of savings in that. Maybe fund a full-time fire department. And I'm just looking at things maybe to spend the resources we have better, provide better services without raising taxes. And ask for everyone's vote on November 6th. My name is Marty Chandler from East District Magistrate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, that wraps up tonight's forum for Simpson County, and I want to thank all the participants for the last 2 weeks. And I would like to encourage everybody to go out and vote on November the 6th. You have a fine bunch of candidates to represent all of us in Franklin and Simpson County. Good night.